Hi, it's Richard Piet. What you're about to see is the first of three visits with the United Way. In particular, three United Way organizations in central and southern Michigan who've decided there's power in numbers. That is, if they merge and work more closely together, it can have a greater impact on the work they're doing in their respective communities. We spoke with the leaders of the Capital Area United Way, which covers three counties around Lansing, Michigan, the United Way of the Battle Creek and Kalamazoo region in southwest Michigan, and the United Way of Jackson County, Michigan in south central part of the state, just before their merger took effect. Have a listen. Welcome back to the Richard Piet Show. You know, we've spoken on a number of occasions over time with the folks at the United Way, and there is some news here in central and southern Michigan as it relates to the United Way, a merger in the offing for the United Ways of Lansing, Jackson, and Battle Creek, Kalamazoo. Today, we're talking with Chris Sargent, who oversees operations at the United Way in Battle Creek and Kalamazoo, about that. Hello, Chris.
Good day, Richard. How are you, sir?
Great. Thanks for this time today. Boy, this is one of those situations in which one might say, I think, there's power in numbers, right? Is that the thinking here, that if you band together, you can be more effective?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, individually, our United Ways are locally connected and strong organizations partnering with companies and nonprofit organizations, funders, individuals, to really create positive impact in our community by raising dollars every year through our annual campaign, and being able to turn around and invest that in programs that really help impact the lives of children and families right here in our community.
So, as you think about that, are there specific initiatives when you heard about this idea that said, man, you know, we could work together to make X program better, or we could see a different kind of an outcome here or there? Were there specific things that came up in your mind as potentially beneficial?
Yeah, so one thing that's really been true over the last couple of years is how each of us in each of these communities have responded to the COVID pandemic and the social services that have been increased in terms of need. So we've done, each of us have raised additional dollars above and beyond what we would normally do, to be able to invest back out into the community, and be able to have a basic needs scaled up, that we've seen over the last couple of years, from that COVID impact. We each do things in each community that's a little bit different in terms of leading around initiatives that the community wants. So, for example, in Jackson, they partner very closely with Consumers Energy to do utility assistance statewide, through the 211 system and partnership.
Sure.
In Lansing, they do a lot of work around volunteer income tax credit for their region to make sure that folks who qualify, are able to get their taxes taken care of, and also be able to benefit from the resources that come back. And even in Battle Creek, Kalamazoo, we do a lot of work around housing for homeless, as well as small business loans and grants, and equity work. So we each have unique strengths and leadership that we've provided in the community that we can learn and grow from in terms of how we bring that back together across the greater region, but also still do the things locally in community that we're asked to do that are important to those communities, and be able to make those decisions community by community.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's some folks listening who are saying, I know that in Battle Creek or Kalamazoo, I can rely on United Way. I know that when I give to United Way through my employer or directly, that it's going to be helpful in my community. If someone's listening now who's concerned about that and the effect that their own dollars have on their own communities, how are you reassuring them?
Yeah, first of all, I would say don't be. One of the things that we've done for over 100 years at United Way is really focus on local community and impact. 10 years ago, we merged Battle Creek and Kalamazoo together as one. And one of the principles and fundamental things that we've been committed to as a part of this merger is local dollars raised will stay local in the community. We're good at that. We know how to honor donor intent that way. And so we'll continue to maintain local offices and operations and staff and investments right here in each of the communities that we serve.
Hmm. Yeah, and probably a helpful thought for folks who really are impacted by that in terms of how they feel when
Yeah.
they are helping their community that way. So, as you mentioned, the Battle Creek and Kalamazoo United Ways just a few years ago merged. This probably gives you some perspective as you look on toward this merger.
Yeah, we learned a lot from that. We learned how important it is to communicate regularly, just like we're doing here with the show, to be able to share information, be transparent with the communities that we serve, so that everybody's aware of what the vision and the plan is moving forward. We also learned that we're better together. That in many cases, when you think about local communities, hunger doesn't stop at a county line. So
Right.
the children and the families that we serve really wanted to be serviced most effectively. And this merger allows us to be efficient and effective with our operations. It allows us to think about donations locally, but then we have a lot of corporate partners and a lot of funders who think beyond a local geography. And so this creates more opportunities for raising additional resources, local, state, federal, as an example, and ultimately allows us to drive greater impact.
In some cases, I would imagine that if you reach out for some kind of a broad-based assistance, let's say it's federal, I'm just grabbing that out of the air, but let's say it's federal. If you say to them, we're a two-county focused region or a three-county focused region, Battle Creek, Kalamazoo, that gives you some sort of impact when they're considering how they're going to award funds. But if you say you're now talking about a number of counties from central to southern lower Michigan, does that give you more clout?
I think in some cases it absolutely could, because those resources might come in for a particular region and geography that, to your point, is bigger than one community or one county. And so, being a part of serving, in this case, 6 counties, will create some opportunities for us to talk about how we can expand investments and programs bigger than we could before.
Mm-hmm. Let's just before you go, let's just talk for a second about the fight that you've been waging for a number of years, right? That you've alluded to in some cases, the biggest need that's out there. Have we seen progress that you wanted to see?
We absolutely have, because our partners in the nonprofit sector are very effective in serving the communities that we support. There's always a significant need. And the last couple of years have really illustrated that. And anytime there's change and uncertainty in a community, which, I think we've had a lot of, there's both a generous outpouring of support from the community. And at the same time, there's opportunities to continue to learn best practice and to figure out new ways of being innovative in terms of how we make investments. So we can do that really well and have been doing that really well as individual United Ways. And at the same time, as we come together, we can really rely on the strengths of our talented team, which we have a very strong, talented, thoughtful team, as well as expand our partnerships to really address the core focus areas and to lead with our values. One of the things I don't think we talk enough about is what are our values, and that includes transparency and accountability in everything that we do, a focus on equity and really reducing and eliminating economic and racial disparities. And those values will continue to align to our vision for how we support our communities every day.
And if folks in Battle Creek and Kalamazoo have questions about the United Way in general, or certainly about this merger, they can still reach out to you in the same ways they always have, right?
Absolutely. Email still works. Phone does, through our website at changethestory.org. And myself and the team will always be available to connect and engage.
Chris, thank you for the update and for keeping us up to speed on what you have planned.
Thank you, Richard.